All set.
Okay, well, hey everyone, and thank you for having me on tonight. I'm super excited. I love Joan, and so when she asked me to be on her call, I couldn't help but say yes. So it's going to be really hard not to be distracted by that little cat, um, whoever's cat that video is, but I will do my best. So I wanted to start by sharing a little bit of my story with you, because you may know me or you may not. You may be like, who is this person? But if you do know who I am, you may have it completely twisted on where you think I started and how you think I got to where I'm at. So I always think it's really important to kind of share with you a little bit of how I got into Beachbody and how I became fit and funky and how that brand has really helped build my business, because the bulk of what I will talk to you about today is branding. So I became a coach in April of 2010. And I didn't do that because I was looking for a weight loss solution. I have always been really fit. I've always been super into fitness. But at the time, I was a fifth grade math teacher. I had 2 kids and an unsupportive husband, and I was in debt up to my eyeballs. And I don't mean the kind of debt that just most Americans have. I was in payday loan debt, which I don't know if you know much about, but once you take out one payday loan, the rate is so high that you get stuck in this cycle of just taking out more and more and more until basically I had no money in my bank account and people harassing me at work, harassing my parents, and no end in sight, and I didn't know what to do. So when I decided to become a fitness instructor, I knew that I needed a second job because I needed some way to make ends meet. I wasn't even making it paycheck to paycheck, and that was embarrassing because I lived in an affluent town and I worked at a school where the women mostly just worked, because they liked it and their husbands made all this money, and here I was, barely could make it to the next paycheck. So I thought, well, I need to get a second job, and the thought of waiting tables or tending bar, which I had always done my whole life, I just didn't want to do again. So I thought, well, I really love fitness, and those people are so awesome and so amazing. I bet you they make tons of money. So that's what I'm going to do. And I had no idea that fitness instructors don't make crap. And then the only reason that they do it is because they really love it and they want to inspire other people. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go become a fitness instructor. And I worked out at the gym every day. I would take my gym bag after school and I would go to the gym. And so I asked my group exercise, or the manager of the gym there, I said, if I were to teach group exercise, how would I do that? Do you know how I can get started? And he said, we partner with this company called Powder Blue Productions, which was Chalene Johnson's company at the time. And he said, there's a class called Turbo Kick. Have you ever heard of it? And I'm like, no, I don't really take classes. He was like, well, there's a training this weekend. Why don't you go? And I go, okay. I had just gotten my tax return. That was the only way I was able to afford this. So I thought, all right, I'm going to show up to this Turbo Kick thing, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to start teaching classes, and that's going to bring in some extra money, and hopefully I can put gas in my car and pay for groceries. So it was at that training that I met the woman that introduced me to Beachbody. Her name is Jackie Bull. And at the training, she said to me, I do this thing called Beachbody and I make more doing that than I do anything else. Have you ever heard of it? And I'm like, no. She said, oh, okay. Well, have you ever heard of something called Insanity? And I'm like, no. She's like, all right. What about P90X? Have you ever heard of that? I'm like, oh, PX90, yes, I've heard of that. I've seen that infomercial on TV. So when I came to Beachbody, I had no history or relationship with any of our products and programs, and honestly was quite clueless. If you want to be completely honest, the only thing that sold me on joining was her hair. She was so beautiful to me. She had this big blonde hair and she seemed so confident, something that I was lacking, believe it or not. I was always anxious and had anxiety and just really wasn't sure, about my life and if this was really the path I was supposed to be on. And she just seemed so healthy and happy and beautiful and confident. And when she told me that she really thought I could be good at this, I was like, okay, I'm going to become a Beachbody coach. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to do it. So I went home that night and I signed up to be a Beachbody coach. And 30 minutes later, I called her and said, I need to quit. she said, why? And I said, because I can't afford this. I don't have the $39.95, and I especially don't have the $89.96. There was no such things as challenge packs at the time. I said, I need that money back. I'm going to bounce everything in my account. Do you think if I quit, they'll reimburse me the money? She says, you can quit. Yeah, and they'll reimburse you. I don't know if you'll get it back by tomorrow, but if that's what you feel like you need to do, you can do it. And I said, okay. So the same night that I joined to become a Beachbody coach, I resigned and I sent in the cancellation fees. And they were right. They reimbursed me a few days later. And so I bounced 3 checks, set my account into the negative, got many overdraft fees. And, I was like, okay, that wasn't for me. That was a bad decision. I shouldn't have done that. And you know how when you don't hear about anything and then all of a sudden all you do is hear about it? So I had never heard about any of our products and programs. Then all of a sudden, all these signs just kept popping up. The following week, I went to get PYO trained by Melissa McAllister, and she mentioned she was a Beachbody coach, and she asked everyone in the room, who's a Beachbody coach? All these people raised their hand. I'm like, all these people are Beachbody coaches? It's really interesting. And then the next week I went to work and everyone knew that I was into fitness, and the teacher across the hall came up to me and said, hey, Danielle, have you ever heard of this thing called TurboFire? And I said, oh, I was like, yes, I've heard of it and I'm going to be a coach. Well, I'm not really a coach, but I think I want to be a coach. Oh, please, please, please do not order it. I was like, don't order it, because if you order it, you can order it through me if I become a coach, but I'm not sure if I'm going to become a coach, so you won't order it, right? So she didn't order it. And lo and behold, she was my very first customer when I finally became a coach. So I know my exact date, April 15th, 2010, because that was the day that I got paid. I got paid once a month, and that was the day that I paid everything. All my mortgage, my car payment, the electricity, the cell phone, everything got paid on that one day. And so I was like, all right, if there's ever going to be a day that I maybe won't bounce my bank account, this would be the day. And so that was the day I became a coach, against my ex-husband now, but my husband at the time's wishes. He was like, you shouldn't do this. It's a pyramid scheme. You're not a salesperson. This isn't going to help us get out of debt. Guess it kind of did. Anyway, it's a whole nother story. So I became a coach. And what you guys think is that I probably just shot to the top and I was just successful right from the very beginning. Well, guess what? I sucked at it. I was a terrible coach. I was awful. I didn't drink our shake because I couldn't afford it. So I bought it once and then I canceled it, and then I signed back up and then I canceled it. But I wasn't drinking it because I was fit, and fit people don't drink meal replacement shakes. They eat food. This is what I thought. And I didn't do one of our workout programs. I didn't even buy one because, are you kidding me? Really? I'm supposed to work out in my living room? I'm fit. Fit people go to the gym. This is what I thought. And I certainly didn't read a personal development book because I'm not crazy. Only crazy people read self-help. I don't cut up Barbie heads and put them in boxes. I don't need to read a self-help book. I'm fine. So what if I'm completely broken, miserable in my life? That's totally normal. So I was selling our business. I was trying to convince people to drink Shakeology. I was trying to convince people to do our workouts, even though I had no relationship to the products and programs. And it worked a little bit because I'm cute and I'm fit and I'm nice and people like me. So I was able to convince some people to join, even though when they asked me questions, what do you think about Shakeology? It's good. It's so good, and it's going to be good for you. So good. Those are the things I would say because I had no idea. I had no relationship with it. So I was Emerald, and I stayed at Emerald, and I would make $14 here, $28 there, no dollars here, no dollars there, and I was in the negative every month. So this thing that I signed up to help get me out of debt was honestly putting me further into debt. And when I moved out of my ex-husband's house, I found broken down Shakeology boxes in the back of my closet because I would hide them because I didn't want him to know that I wasn't drinking the shake that was supposed to be the miraculous thing that was going to get us out of debt. I never hit Success Club, didn't even know what it was. So then in November of that very same year, I went to my first event. So if another thing that I can't stress enough to you, and I promise we'll get into branding at some point, is that you need to get to events, because that event is the thing that forever changed the course of my business. I fully believe had I not gone to that event, I would still suck at being a coach. So I went to that event. Nobody knew who I was. And I just showed up and I sat down in my little seat with my little name badge on. And I just kind of looked around all the people milling about and talking. And I thought, okay, let's just see what this is about. And so another coach got on the little stage there. Her name was Caroline Van Zant. And I actually knew her because she taught classes at the gym on Saturday. And she taught from 8:30 to 9:30. And I taught from 9:30 to 10:30. Because during this, I decided, well, I guess I'm going to teach as many classes as possible because that's the only way you make money. So in addition to teaching elementary school, I was teaching 14 classes a week and still trying to build this business. So I was running myself pretty thin. She walked across the stage and she said, I joined in April of 2010. I joined in April of 2010. She said, and I'm a diamond coach and I pay for my family's mortgage with my Beachbody earnings. I was mortified. I was like, what? I'm an Emerald coach and I'm in the negative and I don't even drink our stupid shakes. What am I doing? So I sat there for a minute and I thought, all right, you can either sit here and play the oh, woe is me game, or you can think, why not you? If she can do it, what are you doing wrong? So that's when I just sat and I got out my pen and paper and I started writing feverishly. And I started listening to everything everyone was saying. And back then it was called the game plan, but it was essentially the vital behaviors. And so everyone talked about doing a workout, drinking their shake, and reading a book. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I turned around to the guy behind me, who I now know is Chris Reed. And I said, mark my words, you have no idea who I am, but this will be the last event you don't know me. And I didn't say that because I wanted to be famous. And I didn't say that because I wanted notoriety. I needed that for like me, to let somebody know that like this meeting changed my life and I promise I'm going to change it. So I went home that day and I thought, all right, I got to do a workout program. Let's see what we got. So I looked at it and I thought, insanity. All right, that guy looks pretty cool and he's pretty fit and I guess I'll give that a shot. Imagine, had I not ever picked up that workout program, how different my life might be. So I started drinking chocolate Shakeology, and still to this day, that's still my flavor of choice. And I picked up my very first personal development book, which was The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's very similar to The Compound Effect. And it talked about doing the very little consistent behaviors over time that will lead to big change. And I thought, okay, I can do that. So I became Diamond, I started a fit club, and I just started doing all these behaviors that other coaches were doing. I started posting on Facebook. So a lot of you might see me and see my Facebook, and I have like 121,000 followers on Facebook, and you're like, oh, the only reason she's successful is because she has a big social media following. When I started, I didn't have a page. I didn't really even understand Facebook. I was pretty sad MySpace was gone. And the only reason I started Facebook was because other coaches were posting on there. So I started with Danielle's Fit Tip of the Day. And I used to get magazines, and I would just open a page, spin my finger and point at it, and I go, okay, how am I going to turn this into something that sounds like me and give people a fitness tip? And that's honestly how Fit and Funky started. In January of 2011 was the first month I ever hit Success Club, and I've not missed it since. January of 2011 was my first month as a full-time Beachbody coach. So that 1 year of consistent behavior, picking up a workout, drinking my shakes, reading personal development, making sure I hit Success Club. That was the change that my business needed, that led me to going from a coach who wasn't doing anything, who was in the negative, to a coach who had matched her income as a teacher. Granted, we don't make like the most money on the planet, but still, I was the only one working in my family. My now ex-husband at the time didn't work. And so I was the sole breadwinner. And so with that 1 year of consistent behavior of hitting Success Club and being proof the products work and reading my personal development, I was able to quit my job. A lot of you see me now and think, oh, she's only successful because she's in the videos. I was never in a video as I started out. I actually got to be in the Insanity infomercial because I submitted my results just like everybody else. I went from fit to fitter, and I submitted my results, and I was asked to be in the infomercial. And it was at that infomercial that I met my now husband for the very first time, and I became friends with Sean. But I was already on my way. The time I was in the infomercial in September of 2011. So I was already on my 9th month of Success Club and on my way to becoming a full-time coach. So I'm not successful because I was in a video. I wasn't even in one of those. Or people say, oh, she's only successful because she has abs. Actually, I'm successful in spite of them. Because for a lot of people, it's hard to connect with somebody like me. Oh, she's never been overweight, so she doesn't know what it feels like to be me. Or it's not realistic for them to look at my body and think that that's something that they can achieve. Or, oh, she must just work out 24 hours a day. She probably doesn't have kids or a life. And so actually I have to fight harder to be relatable to people. So why do I tell you all of that? Because a lot of times when I come into a call, people have me on this weird pedestal. Oh, she's in the videos, and oh, she's a big social media following. So, yep, you know what? That's why she's successful. And so I'm going to listen to her, but her, she's not where I'm at. She's never struggled like I've struggled. And you guys, I was in the exact same place that you are. And every bit of success I have, it's because I've worked my ass off for. And so what I'm about to share with you is not magic. It's things that I tried and failed at along the way that have gotten me to where I'm at. And I'm still nowhere near as successful as I'd like to be. I still have goals that I'd like to reach and things that I'd like to achieve, and I'm still failing along the way. I still worry, like tomorrow morning, I will open my back office and I will look at Darren and go, well, this is the month I don't hit Success Club. Y'all, that 0 on the first of the month makes me vomit every single month. Every month I look at him, I'm like, this is it. This is the month where my 57 months of Success Club 10 drops. And every month I crush that. I'm at 55 Success Club points right now. Last month I had 107 Success Club points. And I don't have a fancy website. I don't run ads on Facebook. It's just simply by me getting up every day and working on me. I do my workout, I drink my shake, I read my book, I share that with friends and people on social media. And I built a brand. And that's what I want to talk to you about. The reason I feel that I have been able to stand out in the crowd, become visible in this noisy world, because let's be honest, your Facebook newsfeed is cluttered with Beachbody coaches. Your Facebook newsfeed is cluttered with Advocare reps and Herbalife people and the people that wrap their tummies and the mascara people and all these multi-level marketing. Your Facebook world and Instagram and now Periscope and all these things, it is so noisy with people trying to sell stuff. And the only way that you will become successful in this noisy world is to set yourself apart. And that is the one thing that I feel that I have done well. There are things that I still can improve upon, and there are things that I still struggle with, but I feel like the one area that I did is I made myself stand apart, and that's with branding. So let's talk about that. So first things first in branding, you have to decide who you will be if, God forbid, Beachbody crashes. Write that down. Who are you if Beachbody crumbles one day? Because here's what I know. God forbid something ever happens to Beachbody, I will be able to write a book, be on a show, start a new business, and all the people that follow me on my social will follow me wherever I go, because I'm not just about Beachbody for them. I'm about so much more. So your brand cannot be centered around the fact that you are a Beachbody coach. Your brand needs to be centered around you. So you need to figure out, who are you in the event Beachbody crumbles? And that's very serious. And I know that it's not, and we're super successful, but I want you to have those glasses on. Who are you? What are 3 to 5 things that you are about other than Beachbody? And that's your homework to Joan, is to tell her what you are other than Beachbody, other than fitness, even if we're being completely honest. I guarantee you, if I was allowed to unmute you, each and every one of you, if you follow me, would be able to share one thing different about me that you know that the other person before you said. I've played this game on my social before. I've said, say something that you know about me. And if somebody says it, you're not allowed to say it. You have to say something else. And I am always amazed at the things people know about me, because they are invested in me. To use a term that Shalene talks about a lot, they're my lifer. My people that follow me on social media are ride or die for me. And if anything were to happen, they will follow me wherever I go, because they know I'm going to give them advice on what shoes to wear. And they know I'm going to give them advice on parenting, and they know I'm going to be super no nonsense, and they know that I'm going to show them my favorite pairs of tights and clothes because I'm super into fitness fashion. So you see, I'm about shoes and being a mom and about being no nonsense and about fitness fashion. I just named 4 things I'm about, but I never said I'm about insanity, or I'm about being friends with Shaun T, or I'm about the 21-day fix containers. So I need you to figure out who you are in the event Beachbody crumbles. And so your homework, first thing when we get off this call, is to list 3 to 5 things that you are about other than Beachbody. Maybe you like scrapbooking. Maybe you're into gardening. Maybe you love running. Maybe your favorite show is The Walking Dead. It's one of mine. Maybe you love Netflix. Maybe you like, I don't know, you're super into technology. Anything. Fitness can be part of it, but you cannot base your brand and your social media solely on Beachbody, because if you do, you will be scrolled right past. Most people do this. This is how they intake social media, quickly scrolling. Something has to make them go and stop their finger on your post. Do you think it's going to be a picture of the 21-day fix containers? Probably not. They've seen that 9 million times. They scroll. Bloop. Do they think it's going to be you with your selfie and Shakeology? Nope. They saw 30 other coaches post a selfie of themselves with Shakeology. So you have to figure out, what value are you providing to the followers that follow you other than Beachbody? Because let's say you are hands down the best golfer in the world. Man, you are like just golfer supreme. You start sharing some of those tips about golfing with the people who follow you. You don't think that when they go to the golf course and your tips worked, and now they trust and believe in you, that when you do say, hey guys, PiYo has been a program that's really helped me improve my flexibility and, believe it or not, has upped my golf game. I'd love for you to do that with me. You don't think they're going to join you because they trusted you and believed in you in the things that you shared about golfing? So if I were to go to your social media right now and it is like a Beachbody word vomit party over there, then I need you to really reevaluate how you are doing social. Because your brand is not Beachbody. Beachbody is its own brand. Your brand is you. My brand is Fit and Funky, and I actually don't recommend you do that. Do not name yourself something else. I was very fortunate to be able to make that work, and maybe the divorce gods knew I was going to be Danielle Henson, and then I was going to get divorced and go back to my maiden name, and then I was going to meet the man of my dreams, and then I was going to become Danielle Natoni, and they're like, oh, you should just be Fit and Funky. That'll be better. But for most people, your brand should be you. So if you're branding yourself as like fit, fat girl gets fit, that won't work. Most people want to connect with a person, not a name. Beachbody is its own brand. So you need to brand you. Your first and last name, your picture, your face, not a cat, not your kids, not your husband, just you. You are your brand. You are going to make somebody become a coach. You are what is going to make somebody buy a challenge pack. If it wasn't you that was important, we could just throw up our programs on the shelves at Walmart and Target, and they would do just fine. So I need you to figure out what value you can provide to others outside of just Beachbody, which will in turn bring more people to you in Beachbody. The next thing I need you to decide is, who are you talking to? You can't talk to everyone. Not everyone is going to be for you. So you need to decide who your avatar is. Who is the person that is most likely to be attracted to you? So for me, it's actually one of my girlfriends. Her name is Brandy. She's 42. She's a mother of 3. She's an elementary school teacher who always just bounces back and forth between needing to lose 10 to 15 pounds. Whenever I make a post, I think, would that serve Brandy? Would Brandy find that interesting? Because honestly, I don't care if Joe, a 48-year-old bodybuilder and firefighter, finds that interesting, because guess what? He's not the majority of the people I'm talking to. So when you're thinking about branding and you're thinking about branding yourself, you also need to think about the fact that you are not going to be able to attract everyone. And so you need to figure out who your target market is for your brand. So for me, it's a 25 to 45-year-old working mother. That's my brand. That is who my avatar is. And so when I am thinking about branding myself and thinking about my 3 to 5 things and thinking about what kind of value I'm going to be adding to people, that's who I'm thinking about. And if along the way I happen to get some different people and some different stragglers, then that's awesome. But I need to be seriously focused on the fact that I can't attract everyone. So my brand has to be very specific. If you think about some very big brands out there, right? So let's just take Nike, for example. Is Nike targeting your grandma? Not really. Why? Because are 80-year-olds running out to get the flyest pair of Air Force Ones? I don't even know if that's like a cool shoe anymore, but you catch my drift, right? Like they're not worried about targeting the 80-year-old grandma because that's not their brand. Their brand right now is to target the, college age kid athlete. That's who their brand targets right now. And so your brand needs to have a very specific target. Who are you talking to with your 3 to 5 things that are other than Beachbody? So, there's so many places that you can go with branding, and we could really spend a lot of time looking at your social media. Like, are you posting the right things? Are you posting enough video? And are you adding enough value? But at the end of the day, your core bare basic homework right now is to, number one, decide what are 3 to 5 things you are other than Beachbody. What would your brand be should Beachbody ever crumble? And then who are you talking to? Who is your avatar? Who is the target market that you are adding the most value to? And then you need to focus on that for 30 days. Just for 30 days, continually target those specific things. And I guarantee you're going to see an increase in attraction. Because right now, if you're just shooting off in all different directions, then maybe your post is attracting some people here and there, but you're not sending the right message to the right people. And if you're not branding yourself, you're also doing yourself a major disservice. So it needs to be your name, your face, up close, smiling, good lighting, no cats, no dogs, no spouses, just you. And if your cover photo on Facebook is one of our programs or challenge packs or anything to that effect, you need to take it down and change it. Because the first thing that somebody sees when they come to your Facebook profile is that profile picture and that cover photo. And that cover photo should be a collage of your 3 to 5 things that shows who you are, what you're about, what your brand represents. So, I'm going to open it up for questions, and I don't know how you guys want to do that. I don't know if you want to just type into the chat field or if you want to allow people to unmute themselves, but I will allow you guys to ask some questions on that. And then I would love for you to share with Joan what your 3 to 5 things are other than Beachbody and who your avatar is. And I want you to get very specific. Like, I want you to give them a name and an age, or find somebody in your life that represents your exact avatar and share those things with her, because I guarantee you those are going to make your posts and your social and the people you attract so much better. So if you have any questions, I don't know how, because Joan went away again, but
can you guys hear me? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay! I'm like, my house is like technologically, I don't know what is happening right now. I've got a complete gray screen on my Mac. This one's lagging behind. I can't get sound on a third computer, but that was awesome. And I just want to thank you so much. And if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and throw them in that chat box below, and I'm sure Danielle would be happy to answer for you. Am I still lagging behind?
No questions. I'm just that effective.
No questions.
I don't know, but Nardine, whoever that is, she was like on the phone the whole time. She was talking. She was having a conversation.
It was my mom. I have to do that.
I'm just giving you a hard time, girl. Don't even stress about it. I get it.
There's this whole bunch of papers here waiting for someone to ask a question.
All good. How do we figure out those 3 to 5 things? I thought I was branding effectively, but it's all workouts and stuff. So ask your followers, ask your friends, ask your family. And it's okay, like so for example, workouts are part of my brand because I'm super into fitness, but I can't just post about workouts because there's tons of that on social media. So what are your hobbies? What do you like? What are you interested in? Or if you don't have one, which I find hard to believe, then like find a hobby, start something new and tell people, hey, this is something new that I'm going to get into and I'm going to share it along the way. But I guarantee you, if you ask your family, your friends, or even your followers what they think you're about other than fitness, they'll be able to help you. But you really can't be all fitness all the time. Like even me, I'm not. And when I notice when I post too much fitness in a row, I lose some people because they want variety. There's enough fitness out there in the social media world that they want to connect with you on so many more levels. Anyone else? You're welcome. Quiet group. How effective have you found IG to be? So Instagram is awesome. I love Instagram. So I probably still get, for a while I would have said I got the highest rate of return on Facebook, but Instagram is creeping up there slowly. And so Instagram for sure is effective if you are using it correctly. So it needs to be photos and videos. For me on Instagram, if you are posting too many words, I won't read you or look at your picture. So remember the purpose of Instagram, which is for things to attract visually. So you'll still use words, obviously, but if you, like when I see people with a big long post that they clearly just copied from their Facebook and put into their Instagram, I'm totally not reading it. And then remember that the only place for an actionable link in Instagram is in your bio. So if you're putting some kind of a link in your post, no one can copy it or do anything with it anyway. So don't put links in there unless you tell them to go to your bio and that's where you put it. But I found Instagram to be extremely effective, but you have to make sure that your pictures are clear. They have good lighting. Try to use no stock photos. They should always be your photos that you actually took with your iPhone. And, obviously clean them up, edit them, put some wording on them. But I think that Instagram, here's the reality. Facebook is on a decline, even though it's still super effective. Instagram has plateaued, and honestly, Periscope is on the rise. It has gotten 13 million followers since February, and it's not going anywhere. And the thing with Facebook and Instagram is that kids don't want to be where their grandparents are or their parents are. And so now that there are 3 generations of people on Facebook, it's why there's such a decline on Facebook, because where the kids are at is where the hottest social media is. And so that was Instagram for a while, but now there's 2 generations of people on Instagram. And so it's why kids are jumping ship off of Instagram and they're on Snapchat and now heading over onto Periscope. Periscope's not going away. If you're not on it, you need to be on it. And it's a next call. Like I could do a whole call simply on that, but you should go to periscopeisdope.com and download Shalene's free freemium on how to be awesome on Periscope. But it's just a great way for people to connect with you. But back to Instagram, you should be using it, but you need to be using your own photos that you took with your iPhone, and they need to be clean, uncluttered, edited, and they should have your branding on it. So if you don't have a logo, then you should be writing your handle on every single picture for a branding purpose. Are tips good to, wait, how do you keep thinking of fun new posts to keep people engaged? And yes, I said periscopeisdope.com. So honestly, you guys, I don't sit here and go, okay, I wonder what would be a really good post. Like I legitimately just live in my life, and that turns into a post of some sort. So like this morning, I posted a picture of my kid drinking Shakeology. It wasn't because I'm like, oh, I bet you if I posted a picture of my kid drinking Shakeology, people would love that. And that'd be a fun, non-gross way to share Shakeology. It was just that legitimately my kid was drinking Shakeology. Or the other day I did a post that really went kind of viral, which was that I bent over and showed that I have skin that folds over my waistband. And that was because some person on Instagram said, oh my God, you have skin that folds over your waist. Yeah. So that was like that. I just take my real life and I put it on social. This business is not something you go out to do. You do this business when you go out. Does that make sense? So the same thing is true with your social. You shouldn't have to like figure out what you're going to do on your social. Your social should literally be a snapshot into your life. What are you legitimately doing? Now, with that being said, you have to put value on it and you have to create a call to action. So if Darren and I go to dinner, that's not interesting to people unless I make it interesting. Hey, you know, it's super important that you find time to get alone time with your spouse, no matter how busy you are. How many times a week do you do that? See, I took a post of like, who cares? So what, you went to dinner with your husband, and now I added value and made my followers think. So I don't want you to think of like, gosh, how do I think of things to post on social? Stop thinking of things to post on social. Take your life and then just make it into something of value. That's 9 times out of 10 when you see my posts on social media, it's legitimately something that's going on, and I'm like, all right, how can I put a positive spin on that? How can I create value? How can I make them see something from that? What are your favorite apps to use for your photos? Number 1 favorite app is Snapseed, Snapseed. That's how I do all my photo editing. As far as like just it's super easy to use, and it takes filtering to a whole new level, and it just can make things really bright. Never, ever, ever post a dark picture on social. It drives me nuts. I'm like, what am I looking at? What do you want me to see here? So if you take a great photo, then you need to clean it up if it was too dark. So Snapseed is what I use for photo editing. I use iWatermark to put my logo, or you can write, you know, just your Instagram handle or whatever to add watermarks. And really those are the 2 main apps. Oh, and I use WordSwag or Over. So I use WordSwag if I'm going to put like a quote, and I just use Over if I'm just going to write a couple things on it. So those are some of my favorites. The other thing that you all need in your life is this, which is Lumi. It's the Selfie Case. Okay, so it's a light that goes on your phone, and it helps you take better pictures. And if you're like, well, that's silly, I don't need it. Yes, you do. You do. You need it because your photos should be for view, not just like, if I always say this, like, if I think Autumn Calabrese is super beautiful, but if I see that picture of her from the 21 Day Fix Extreme with the black background and her green eyes one more time on social media, I'm going to punch somebody in the throat, like in the throat. Stop using our corporate images for everything and take photos with your iPhone and make them original. Okay? That's like my number 3 homework for you, is I don't want to see you use any more corporate images. Same thing with that size photo of Sean, and he's like this, super cute, but how many times do I need to see that? Like, you need to take photos and videos with your phone and then post them and make them interesting and create value from them. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a Lumi case, like $50, and it's for all the different kinds of phones, and they make great coach gifts. So like, go ahead and move up in rank, and then that way somebody can get one for you. So because you're going to move up in rank, because you're going to sign so many coaches, because you're going to be attracting the right people, because you're going to know who your avatar is, and you're going to be talking about 3 to 5 things other than Beachbody, so that they trust and believe in you, so that when you give them the coaching opportunity, they're ready. Make sense? Cool. Anything else?
Just that, thank you so much. Everybody here left with like so much written down. You're excited to rewatch this, branding down, and write down your 3 to 5 things. You're just awesome, and I love you.
Thanks. Love you guys too. Sorry you're having technology trouble. It's probably because you live in Maine, and that's like basically Antarctica. Are you guys all from Maine? Did I just offend your whole team?
It's like the dark ages in this.
That's okay. One of my top coaches is from Maine, so I shouldn't joke.
Holly.
Holly, yes.
She lives way up there, though.
Oh, really? She's super Antarctica?
She's in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Thank you so much. We will let you get to the rest of your night. And just give her a thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give you this my YouTube so you can.
Hey, Joan, you might want to type because you're cutting out big time.
I just will message you.
I think everyone's all set to pop off.